Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, some best boxer in the world news, right? Terrence Bud Crawford, right? Mr. Inactivity. Terrence Bud Crawford. I'm gonna do one of these like every time somebody say something. Not every time somebody say something, but probably much every second day because it's kind of ridiculous, I think, and I want to continue to just do it so you see how many times it happens. There's a groundswell of boxing experts that think that Terrence Crawford will beat Canelo Alvarez in September. Now, this boxing guy, I'm not going to call myself an expert, I still don't think the fight's going to happen, right? I just think something's going to happen in between. Now, we have the William Skull fight. And after checking out William Skull, he's talented. He can give Canelo issues. I just think his boxing, his punching power will lack enough to keep Canelo off of him for Canelo to stop him late or pull out a late, a win where it's a close fight, but Canelo gonna get it type of thing. I don't think that William Skull is gonna do the Lamont Roach thing and just basically beat a guy who he shouldn't have beat in Gervonta Davis. So I think Canelo's going to get past Roach, but I think it's going to be better than we expect. That's what I do think. He's Cuban. Give him that, right? But I think something's going to go down to where the fight with Crawford is not going to happen because, and I just, this is how, judging from Canelo's career, he's not the type of guy who's going to let the other guy get some legacy at his expense. He's just not. There's a lot of guys that should have been Hall of Famers right now, but Canelo just like, you ain't fighting me to get it. And they calling me all so awesome without fighting people. That's hard. I ain't doing that. Now, Paulie Malignaggi has been called a whole lot of things, right? And I've been telling you, he's just passionate about his opinions. Paulie Malignaggi is not this and not that. Guys, if you disagree with someone about a fighter or an opinion nowadays, you're called a hater. If you say something negative about somebody, you're a hater. If you say something objective, you're a hater. So you're getting called that. And some of us have the itchy trigger finger in calling people racist, right? And, us black people, especially American blacks, our trigger finger should be itchy to call people racist because it's just racism all around. And hey, you guys know how I feel about America's new Russia, right? White supremacy, new Russia, all through our government. So it is what it is. You can act like you're not seeing it until something happens to you personally, but I don't play that. I scroll out and I see it and I'm just going to say it. If you're going to do it, expect somebody to say something. You will get called out on it. I'm not going to act like I don't see stuff. So new Russia is what's been in charge of boxing for all this time. That's why a lot of boxers of color don't get their just due. See, Clarissa still about to leave New Russia, but whatever, that's a different video. Bottom line is this. Too many fighters are saying Terrence Crawford has a chance against Canelo Alvarez. I think it's ridiculous. This shouldn't be a 50-50 fight. If Canelo's a Hall of Famer and that big, this should be an 80-20 fight. If Canelo is a Hall of Famer and a definite 168-pounder who has fought at 175. There should be nobody 3 pounds, 3 divisions lower than him, but they call him that they think there's a 50-50 fight with him. And Terrence Crawford is that, which makes him ridiculously awesome. The latest is Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie Malignaggi says he thinks Crawford can beat Canelo. He thinks Crawford has what it takes. He's way more skilled than Canelo. The only thing he says Canelo has is his size, but he thinks Crawford now, as opposed to when he first got announced, he thinks Crawford can get the job done because he's been thinking about it. He's just like, hey, listen, Canelo, first of all, has been beaten several times. Just like Hasim Rahman was saying, he's been beaten. We've seen it. But he's also said, in barn burner of fights, Canelo's behind. He just kind of just says, okay, I'm going to just take the ass whooping. Like Dimitri Bivol. He didn't bite down on the gum shield and just push Dimitri Bivol around and I'm going to win this fight. Whatever. I'm just going to forget it, throw everything away and just throw punches at him. Didn't do it. Just said, okay, Dimitri Bivol got my number and I'm just going to take this ass whooping and not going to fight him at 168 pounds and I'll be all right because people are going to forget and let me fight the Belangas and the Munguias and all that afterwards, right? And that's what Paulie Malignaggi says. Lost to Bivol, didn't fight him at 168, and just let his opposition be a lot lower now so he doesn't have to deal with something like that before. Same thing with Floyd Mayweather. You know, losing. I thought he was at least coming, trying to fight. Floyd Mayweather was getting beat. And I just think that even Floyd Mayweather's little brittle hands and being 20 pounds lighter, he should have did more there too. So does Paulie Malignaggi. So, you know, it's a lot of times, you know, where, you know, he should have did a little bit more. But whatever. Canelo's still good, but he just ain't one of the best. That's how I feel here. Now, when it comes to Paulie Malignaggi, now, saying that this about Canelo, he'll be called a hater. Saying that Eastern Europeans are taking over boxing, he was called a racist, right? Which he had, like I said, all the reason in the world to at least say that, you know, because like I said, back then, you had the Klitschko's and the heavyweight with Povetkin and a few others. You had the light heavyweights, the Bivols, the Beterbiev and the Gvorchiks, all of that. And in cruiserweight, you had the cruiserweight damn Super 6 series where it wasn't nothing but Eastern Europeans in it. Eastern Europeans and Mike Perez and Dorticus. It was all Eastern Europeans and 2 Cubans. That's what that tournament was. So, you know, and then I didn't even mention the other Sergey Kovalevs and the Golovkins and the Lomachinkos and the Deryanchinkos and all that either. And the Victor Postals and whatever else was going on. You know what I'm saying? So to say that, you know, doesn't mean you're racist. Or if Devin Haney says he ain't getting beat by a white boy, you know, that irks him because Lomachenko's there, that's not necessarily racist. Like, okay, watch it. So a couple of white boys is going to get you, Devin. It ain't like Terrence Crawford said he ain't getting beat by a white boy, where you'd be like, well, maybe he's right. You know, he's been around long enough to say it ain't happening. But it was Devin Haney, and that just because that irks you doesn't mean that you're racist. So I wasn't agreeing on that because I've seen Paulie Malignaggi stand for things before that. And like I say, a racist will not physically be able to say that Canelo has been avoiding people and that a Terrence Crawford going to beat Canelo. He wouldn't physically be able to say that Demetrius Andrade was avoided by Canelo and is one of the most tragic stories in boxing. A racist, they can't physically say that. And they definitely wouldn't, because their racist friends say that anywhere live where people can see them. So racists can't say that. And those are the things that made me know, well, Paulie's not racist. And people who know him closely say he's not. He's just passionate about things, and he says things openly. His point about Canelo right now, he's not a Canelo hater. He's just like, look, man, he ain't doing things like Terrence Crawford has done his career trying to fight harder fighters all the time. Like I told you guys, Terrence Crawford is not letting somebody else in any of his divisions be called better than him or near him, right? Canelo has in every single division. 54, both Charlos and Demetrius Andrade were other champions, and he didn't want a part of any of them. Demetrius Andrade at 160 was a guy who he could have had fought just for undisputed. It wouldn't fight him. He was called out by him. At 168, the two best guys, obviously the two best guys, are Benavidez and Morrell. I ain't fighting neither one of them. All this is coincidences, guys. Really? You know what I'm saying? So, and Bivol, we acting like Bivol now, you know, Bivol, man, he fought him. No, he was trying to not fight Beterbiev. And Bivol just turned out to be hard too, right? That's all that was, right? So he took instead of the Benavidez and the Jamal Charlo option, when he had 2 options on the table, he took the Dmitry Bivol and the old Golovkin option. He had 2 options. He took that one. It just backfired. That's all. So when Paulie Malignaggi speaks, he's not a hater or a racist. He's just a realist. And he will passionately tell you what the hell he thinks. Gotta respect it. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.